first impressions matter. The first few minutes and hours of a program are absolutely essential to establishing your leadership of the trip, as well as to setting a positive tone or feeling for the rest of the program. One of the most important conversations that you can have at the beginning of a trip is about the rules and expectations, our inclusivity and anti-bullying statement, and how to appropriately use cell phones while on trips. If you have this conversation and it goes really well, you can establish a positive, healthy group dynamic from the beginning, which prevents issues from coming up down the line. We'll be modeling one approach to having this conversation, but it's okay to have your own style and your own voice. But here's ours. All right, everyone, so the next section that we need to cover right now is the rules and expectations for the program. So if you could all just really pay attention to this section, we shouldn't have any problems on our program. You all have the acknowledgement of rules sheet in front of you. So we're gonna read this together. But before we do, I just wanna say the rules are in place for your safety on the program. They may be different from rules that you have back at home, but they're the rules that apply to our programs, and we do take them really seriously. So we have to rely and trust you guys. So let's read these through together. I'm actually gonna start with John if you wanna read that intro, and then we'll just go around the room. You can read one by one so that everyone gets to contribute. All right, that last section, just talking about the consequences, is really important. It's really unfortunate, but every year we have students that violate our rules, and we actually do send students home from programs, and sometimes whole groups of students will get sent home. So please just don't put yourself in that kind of position. Peer pressure isn't an excuse on these programs either. So, if something's going on that you're not comfortable with, just feel free to tell the other students, like, listen, I worked too hard to be here, I've got too much to lose, and then remove yourself from that situation. We don't put these policies in place to be mean. We do it because we're in a foreign environment, you're unfamiliar with it, and we do it because we have to be able to trust and rely on you to follow these and contribute to your own well-being. So, and the other thing is that it's not easy for us either. We derive absolutely no pleasure from sending students home. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually look you all in the eyes and tell you, please don't make me send you home. All right, thank you.
Okay, so as Kevin said, we really want to emphasize that everybody think about our group and our group's interests, and not just the interest of you as an individual. I know when you're going through your day-to-day life, we tend to think about our own interests before the interests of the group, but for these next couple weeks, we really want you to flip that and put the group first. And when we say group, of course we mean you guys, the students, and we mean us, program leaders, but we also mean people like drivers, the community members that we're gonna interact with, even anyone in a market. So be thinking about everyone that we interact with. It's really a cool opportunity for you all to meet people who are different from you, who have different stories, different lives, different families, and I want you to take this opportunity to get to know them and become friends with them and meet people who are different than the people that you've grown up with your whole lives. We really want to put an emphasis on inclusive behaviors and inclusive relationships rather than exclusive. So if you're playing a game, make sure you invite somebody who might just be sitting on the side, or when you're getting into a bus, try to sit down next to somebody that you might not have spoken to that much. Really try to meet new people and find out new things from different people every day. And I promise, if you just put that little bit of effort, the trip is going to be so much more fun. Does that sound good?
All right, everyone. So the last section that we do want to talk about as it relates to kind of the rules and expectations for our programs is the use of cell phones. So cell phones are a great tool. We certainly understand that. But on our programs, we ask for some pretty specific sort of regulations around actually using our phones. So the rule that we have in place is basically, we don't expect to see anyone's cell phones out during any mealtime, during any service activities, really during any activities throughout the day, and definitely not during any sort of presentations or sort of community meetings, things like that. It can be pretty offensive to someone who's there to help us out to have a bunch of cell phones or look like students are distracted from actually being there. So no phones out during meal times. If you are going to use your phone, please use it before breakfast or after dinner, during like free time, downtime, certainly not during discussions or anything like that. But beyond that, sort of expectation, we also challenge all of you to consider, reducing your phone usage as much as you possibly can. Part of why, you're here and part of the joy of travel is to disconnect from what is going on back home. And while finding out about the latest sort of gossip back at your school may be interesting for a moment, but it really does kind of pull your head out of the game of being here and being present with all of us. And certainly this is a really unique opportunity. You may never be able to come back to this country again, but you certainly will be back in your school environment or your friend environment in just a few weeks. So really do challenge yourself. It's the number one sort of piece of feedback that students give is, I wish I had used my phone less on the trip, or I wish I had fully unplugged. So please challenge yourself to do that. I promise you'll get plenty of Instagram likes on the pictures that you actually do end up taking on the trip, but rather than actually taking 40 pictures of the same thing, take one, enjoy it, and then actually be present for that moment. And again, as Aaron was just talking about, it really does matter for our group dynamic. So again, be putting our group first before what you need individually. So thanks.